Hello everyone, so let's get started. So in this tutorial, first part of this tutorial, we'll be building this UI, okay? And unlike other tutorials, I'm going to explain every detail of this UI step by step so that it becomes easier for beginners to learn Flutter and how to do complex layout, like over here, this section and this section, like they're overlapping onto each other, and as well as this two column section. Like most of the app they don't have, and it could be a bit complex for beginners, so I'll cover everything in detail. So without further ado, let's get started. Now here I have this okay, I don't need this. So here I have this file, this main.dart, okay, and what I'll do, I'll just delete all of this. We don't need this section, and here I'll also delete this one. Now of course we don't have this file, so what we'll do, we'll go ahead and create a new file, okay. So let's go ahead and create a new file, .dart, okay, all right, and we'll create a stateful class over here, all right, and we'll call it home page, all right, and we need to import some of the dependencies. Let's go ahead and do it. I think we're good. And now over here, we don't need this my keyword. We'll just go to this, and now we'll import this section. Now we are good to go. All right, so apart from this, I also have this colors file. So it has all these colors that we'll be using in our app. So you should have in your downloaded folder, the one you downloaded at the beginning, in the description section of this video. And apart from that, we also have this two JSON files, okay, all right, and we also have this other JSON file. Well, now this info JSON file for now is empty, so we'll go ahead and build it a little later, okay. So that's pretty much it, okay. So now let's head back to our home page, this file. Now what we'll do, we can run this app, and well, this is all empty, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so first we'll return over here a scaffold, okay. All right, so let's return scaffold, okay. And scaffold, we can give it a background color, so we'll give it a background color, and we'll call color dot. Now we want to use the colors from our file over here, right? Okay, so one thing we need to do, we need to import this file, background color, and the background color should be coming from this file. So we need to import this file. So let's go ahead and import it. So we'll import it as colors.dart. So this is the file name. Remember, not the class name, this is the file name. And we'll import it as whatever in there in this file, we'll import it as color, okay? That's it. Now we can use this color, this keyword to refer our file and everything over here, like these variables. Each of them are variables that I have defined here, okay. So now we can use this word color. Now we can refer to app color. This is our class name, and this is a static class, so you can access the variable directly using the class name. And the first color we want to use is background color, right? So we'll say home background color, this one, all right. Okay, so now let's save it, and we have this white background, okay. Yeah, so we are good. All right, okay, now within it, as for scaffold, we'll have body section, okay. So we'll do body, all right, and within body we'll return a container. We want to wrap everything around a container because later on we'll give it padding and margin, stuff like that, okay. So that's what we want to do, okay. Now within it we want to create a child, and within child we'll have column, okay, and within column we'll have a lot of children. Okay, now we are going to use column over here because as you can see from this layout, so these are rows, like this is a row, this is a row, this is a row, all of these are rows. Most of them are rows, but they are sitting on the top of each other, like this one is sitting on this and this one is sitting on that. So that's why we are going to use column. And if we use column, we can put things on the top of each other but not overlapping, okay. So it's quite different than stack widget. So that's why we'll be using columns, so that we can put things on the top of each other, like more of them, a lot of them would be like as a row, okay. All right, So we are going to use column first. So let's find a simulator and save it, and everything is fine again, no error. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we want to show this. So this would be as a row. Okay, so that's why I'll here write a row. Okay, and I'll have children. Okay, now over here, like, this is our title, right? So maybe app title, this is a training app, and then we have some icons. Okay, so now here our first child is this word, so which is a text. So we'll do text. So we'll wrap it around text widget, and we'll write the this text, which is a training, and then we'll define it as style. Okay, now style could be using style text style constructor. Okay, and we'll do font size. So we'll do font size 30, and then we'll define the color. Okay, now once again, all the colors are saved in our color file, so we can refer our color file using this color variable that we saw early, and then we'll do app color, and then we'll do home page title, this one. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and save it and see it. Okay, so now it's right over there, so we'll take care of that very soon. All right, yeah, and then we can also do, say, font weight, and we'll do font weight dot, say, this one. All right, yeah, so now it become bold, but of course it looks a bit weird because it's covering and sitting at the top. So let me do it and restart it again. Now it's at the top, so we want to put it down, and that's why we wrapped everything around containers so that we can use the padding. Okay, so now we'll use the padding over here, and we'll do const edge inserts only. Now let's do top padding. We'll do top padding 70. Let's save it. Now it's looking much better. Now we'll also do left and right padding, left 30. Let's see, and now we'll do right 30. Well, right 30 we'll do a bit later because we'll see the effect a little later. Okay, anyway, so this is the thing we did. Okay, and next, what do we want to do? We want to show these icons. Okay, these icons. All right, okay, so we can do it quite easily. So we'll use the icon widget. Okay, and over here we'll call icons dot arrow, let's see, arrow forward. Okay, this one. All right, and we also need to define its size, so we'll do size 20, and then we'll do its color. Okay, now once again we'll use our color file, so app color, and home page icons. So this is the one we want to use for color. So let's go ahead, save it, and run it. Yeah, now it's there. So the next one we want to do, show this icon and then that icon. But now these icons, they should have space. All right, so what we'll do sized box here. Okay, say sized box with 10. Okay, and then we'll put another icon, this one. Okay, let me do it a little later so that things look better. Okay, now I want to put another icon, so this is this icon that we want to put. Right, now we'll do icons dot over here, we'll do calendar. So calendar today outlined, I think this is the one I want, and then we'll do size, say 20, and then color, color dot app color, and home page icon. So this is the color we want to use, and now let's save it and see the result. Okay, now it's there, and we have the other icon, so this one, right? So what we'll do, we'll just go ahead and copy paste this one and put it there, but of course it needs a comma over here, otherwise it'll be cranky. Now we want to change this icon, so instead of doing that, we'll do, say, arrow forward iOS, this one. All right, okay, so now let's go ahead and see the result. Okay, now it's looking, I mean, it is there, but looking very weird, right? So we want to change this thing. How to change? So first you want to create a distance from here. So the text word and these icons, there should be a distance, right? So distance like this. So to do that, we can use here an empty container using expanded widget. Okay, so just simply write container and you should be good to go. Let's save it. All right, yeah, so now they posted at the very right edge, right? And that's why now we need to set our right margin or right padding. So we'll do it 30. Now let's save it. Perfect. Now the other thing we want to do, we want to create this space just like this, same space between this calendar icon left and right. So what we'll do, here we'll use a sized box, and we'll say width with 10. Okay, now let's save it and set. Okay, so now this, we are happy with this distance. Now let's create another distance over here. So here we'll also do sized box. Okay, with say 10, and let's save it. But it doesn't really look uniform, the distance, because I think there is a bit of padding on the left. So we don't want to remove the padding, but we can increase the width on the right, then it would look better. Okay, so I think now it looks better. Okay, so we are done with this section, and this section is, everything is in a row, right? Okay, so now next we want to do this section. Well, now this section is also pretty much a row. Okay, this is also a row, so we'll start doing that. But now we want there should be a little bit of distance between this row and this row. So now we'll use sized box. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Sized box, and we'll do height, say 30. Okay, all right. Now let's save it, but of course you won't see anything because we don't have content. Now we'll define another row over here. Okay, the row, one second, we'll have children. Now the first thing we want to do, we want to write this text, your program. Okay, yeah. So once again, what I'll do, I'll just directly copy from here so that we become efficient. And now I'll put it here. Now let's save it and see the result. Yes, but now the font size is too big, so what we'll do 20. Okay, and we can also change the color. So we'll do home page, say home page subtitle. All right, now let's save it. Okay, now that looks much better. Okay, and the other thing we'll do here in the row itself, so here we will write that word which is called over here details, right? Okay, like that. So one thing you will do, once again, we can copy this one. Okay, so that we become efficient. And now instead of this, we'll do details. Now let's save it and run it, and they're together, right? So we need to use, just like we saw, a container widget. Okay, empty container widget. So using expanded widget, so container is wrapped around expanded, so it takes all the available space. Okay, whenever you use expanded, it takes all the available space. Okay, so now between this two text widget, it takes all the available space, right? Okay, and now the other thing about this is that I don't want it to be bold. Okay, so we'll just remove this one. Okay, now the color should be different, like as you see over here, right? So it's a little blue color, so we'll use a different color for this. So we do home page, so maybe detail this one. Yes, the color is there, right? Okay, so next, as you see, we'll have an arrow, so we'll go ahead with that. Okay, so we'll put an arrow over here, and arrow is an icon, sorry. So arrow is an icon, so do icons dot, say arrow forward. I think this one, this is the same icon, pretty much same. All right, and what I'll do, we'll also use size 20 and color. So we'll do color.appcolor.homepage icons. All right, now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Okay, now it's looking much better, but now this text and this one, they're too close to each other. So what we'd do, we'd use sized box and create a bit of distance using width, so we'd use width 5. Okay, now it looks much better. So we are done with these two sections. right? Now we'll see how to create this beautiful background. Okay, now with this background you'll see that we have this gradient color, so it's pretty deep here, and now it becomes a little lighter over here. So that's what we'd be focusing on, drawing this beautiful background with different borders. Okay, all right, now let's close this section. All right, yeah, so that it looks better and clean. Now the first thing we want to do for this one, we want to wrap it around a container, and container will have width and height, and if it's width and height, then you can control its width using border property. So that's why we want to wrap this thing around a container. Okay, yeah, so first thing we'll do here is I think we need a comma, and then we'll do container. Okay, well, now definitely container takes width and height. Okay, so do width. Now what's the width over here? Now let's say we want to use pretty much the width as same as the screen, and we'll get the width from media query of context dot size dot width. All right, and for now say the height is 200. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and do a simple colors.red. Now let's save it and see the result. So it is there, right? Okay, now they're too close to each other, so I think we need to use another sized box over here. So do height, say 20. Yeah, now it put it down. Okay, all right, so regarding this, we'll change the color a little later. So now what we could do, we can use say border radius. Okay, now if we want to use a border radius of a container, you need to use within another constructor which is called box decoration. So for this reason we need to use box decoration, which is belong to decoration property. We'll call box decoration. Okay, now once you have box decoration, you need to move the color inside this box decoration constructor, because container and box decoration, only one of them takes color, and if you use container and box decoration together, the color should be gone inside box decoration. Let's save it, run it, and nothing happens because no error. All right, okay, now because we want to have this beautiful borders and different borders, so now we'll use the border property. So let's go ahead and do it. Also border radius and border radius. Okay, now we want to have different borders, so that's why we'll do only, so that we can take care of each border separately. Okay, so now first we'll do top left, say top left. Okay, radius dot circular, say we want to use 10 pixels, and then we'll do bottom right, say radius dot circular, say 10, and do bottom left or bottom right, it doesn't matter, I think they all have the same radius dot circular 10. Now so for save our work and see the result. So you see it's taking the shape over here. So this is the border that we want to have more of this kind of more bigger radius, right? Okay, and that is the, I think, top right. So we do top right radius dot circular, and we want to use border radius 80. Okay, let's see our result. Okay, now it looks much better, but as you can see from the design that this and this the width, it doesn't really match, so we can change the height over here. Okay, now it's closer, but of course this simulator is a bit big, right? Yeah, but actually it should be 220. Anyway, so now we have this color, but now what we said that we don't want to use this color, we want to use the gradient color. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, remove this section. Okay, so instead of doing colors, you'll call another property which is called gradient, and then it takes a constructor which is the linear gradient. Okay, and linear gradient has a property which is colors, and it takes a list. So you can supply here a list of colors, as many colors as you want, but for us we'll use only 2 colors. Okay, so we do say color dot app color dot we do this one, gradient color, gradient first color. Okay, all right, do this one, and then at least you need 2 colors, I guess, to be gradient, and gradient says second, gradient second. Okay, all right, now this one, let's save it and see what happens. Okay, so this is pretty much there, right? Yeah, so these are gradient color over there. Okay, and but now you can also like this is a bit lighter, but now as you see it's too deep, so we can change the opacity of the color. So we'll do with opacity say 0.8. so this is the first color which starts from here, so this will have this opacity. Now you see opacity change, but now they look almost similar, so I want this one to be a little more transparent, so that's what we'll do with opacity 0.9. all right, now let's save it. Yes, I think I'm happy with this, pretty satisfied. Okay, all right, and another thing you can also define when you use gradient from the place where the color should begin, from where the rendering should begin, so you can define that one. I'll do that. So begin alignment dot, we'll start from bottom left, so we want to start from here, so this place should be the deepest area, I guess. All right, and we'll use end. Okay, and now we'll do alignment dot center right. Okay, so over here I guess should be lightest, or at least it should end here. All right, so let's go ahead and save it. Yeah, so as you see just now it changed, so here's the deepest part and here's the lightest part. Okay, so once you have gradient color, you can use different colors, and you can also supply begin and end, but of course there are more properties that you can take care. Okay, yeah, no problem with that. Okay, now as you can see from this section over here, it is a bit of the shadow, so you want to draw this left and bottom, right and bottom shadow. Okay, and once again that's pretty easy to do. Let's go ahead and see. So now over here we are within box decoration, right? Okay, so within box decoration there is another property which is called box shadow. So we'll call box shadow, and box shadow takes a list, which means you can use many box shadows together, but in our case we'll just use only one box shadow for now. Okay, and it takes offset property, and offset tells you that how much it should spread left and right, like that. Okay, and then we will have blur radius, we'll do 20, and then we'll do the box color, shadow color, sorry, so we'd call color dot app color dot, now we'll use the gradient color to do that. Okay, now let's go ahead and save it and see the result. Now as you see, this is once again too deep, the shadow color we don't want so deep, so we can use opacity. With opacity says 0.2. all right, yes, I'm happy with this color. Okay, yeah, so this shadow, and of course you can play around with this blur radius. Let's see. Okay, so now it's a 10, so if you're happy with this you can just go ahead and play, and instead of doing 5, 10, we can do 5. all right, so go ahead and play with this color as long as you're happy. So I'm happy with this color, so I'll just go ahead with this. So now offset tells you that this is +5, means on the from the left to the right do 5 pixels, and 10, that means from the top to bottom come down 10 pixels. Okay, I think with the blur radius it tells, like for example if you have just 1, I think it becomes more dense. So once you have blur radius, the higher it is, the lighter the radius is, not the radius, I mean the lighter the shadow is, and it looks more natural this way. Okay, yeah, so that's what the box shadow does, and this property. Okay, now we are good with this box decoration and style everything. So what we'll do, we'll collapse this box decoration because we have more stuffs coming on like these things. Okay, now as you can see over here, so this text or elements, they're on a column order, which means they're sitting on the top of each other. Okay, apart from this one, so this is actually row. I'll explain it later why, but in general, this is the first item in the column, this is the second item, this is the third item, and this is the fourth item. So we need column inside this container. So now what we'll do, we'll use child container, child property, and child property text column, and we do children. Okay, so now we want to put our text within this column and other stuffs. Okay, all right, so the first one we want to do is say text, right? So we do text. The text is next workout. All right, yeah, and then we'll use style. So text style, then we'll use font size, and we'll use font size 16, and then we'll use color. So color.appcolor.homepage container text small. So this color is for this small text. All right, let's see, looks like we have an error. Okay, this is font size. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and save it and see the result. Yeah, so it's there, right? And it doesn't look good because it has to be over here, right? Okay, now to do that, what you could do, we can use another property which is called cross-axis alignment property. Let's see. Okay, it should be at the top. Cross-axis alignment, and we'll do from the beginning. Okay, all right. So when you have a column, the cross-axis is the horizontal axis, the main axis is the vertical axis. Okay, so now we are moving it around this horizontal axis. Horizontal axis is this cross-axis alignment, and we starts from the beginning. But at the same time, we also want to do say a bit of padding. Okay, yeah. Now what we could do, we can do the direct padding over here, which I don't want to do. I want to have more control just for this column. Okay, so now I'll wrap this column around a container. Okay, because the column doesn't take padding directly, so I want to have a container. Now if I have a container, then I will have a padding. Okay, so I'll do padding over here. Okay, and then cost edge, it says only, say I want to do left padding, say 20. Okay, so you see it came down a little bit on the left. Okay, and now we want to do the top padding. Okay, say top, say 25. Okay, all right, so like this, and later on we'll design our right padding and we'll see why. Okay, so now that's what we have here, and everything is working good. So the reason why I did this, because I can put it over here, the padding, but I want to have more control just for the column, not for the whole container itself. Okay, yeah, so let's open it up. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, now, so that's it. Next we want to put this text over here. Okay, now what we'll do, I think we can just copy this one and put it right there, and instead of doing next workout, we could do legs toning. Okay, on the font size we can change it to 25, and let's see, the color, I think I would go with the same color. Okay, right, but now I think they're too close to each other. We can use a little bit of distance, so we do size box height, say 5 pixels. So with the sized box, so it creates a distance, right? So now it came down a little bit, 5 pixels. Let's see, without this, we have this. Now, yeah, so I like it. All right, so next we want to have this one. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll just copy paste it directly and put it right below it. Okay, and instead of writing this, so let's go ahead and change the text. The text is and glutes workout. Okay, now let's save it and see. Okay, now it's working perfect. Okay, so that's it. So now we have these things. The next we want to put is this thing, but now actually they are in a row. As you can see, they're on the same horizontal line, so we'll put it in a row. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll go ahead and declare a row. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay, so row, and of course it takes the children, and then children will have let's see, I think now here with this two, they're also in a row. Okay, and this is the empty container, and this is the other element. Okay, so this is a row inside the big row, and these are independent elements, so this and this doesn't need a row. This would be an empty container, which we saw earlier. Okay, all right, so now here we'll declare another row, and we'll have children. Okay, now the first one, we want to draw this icon over here, so go ahead and call icons dot timer. Okay, and we do size 20, and color dot app color dot homepage small text. No, this is homepage container text small. So this is actually color name. I should have put here text small color, but it makes sense, right? Okay, anyway, let's see. Now let's go ahead and save it and see the result. Yes, okay, but we'll take care of this distance a little later. It doesn't matter now. Okay, and now we want to put the next text, this one, 60 minutes. So what I'll just copy this one directly and put it over here. Instead of doing writing this, we'll write 60 seconds, I guess, or sorry, 60 minutes. Okay, and I think everything else stays the same, but of course this one, this size, we don't want so big, we want a bit smaller. Okay, yeah, it looks good. And now, well, of course, within this we can create a sized box to create a distance. So do sized box, and we do width. Yes, with 10. Let's save it. Yes, it looks much better. Okay, well, the next we will have an empty now before an empty container. What I'll do, I will draw that icon, this icon, this icon. All right, okay, so just go ahead and call icon widget. Okay, and icons dot I guess it's called what is it, the name, the name, let's see, play circle, I think, like that. This one, yeah, this is the name. And now we'll do color, but so this is simply white color, so I'll do colors dot white. Okay, and we will also do size, say 60. All right, now let's go ahead, save it and see the result. Oops, sorry. Okay, well, now they're too close to each other, right? So we learned that we can wrap it around, we can put another expanded widget. So we do container, and of course we have an error. Okay, now the error reason is over here, this row. Okay, within this row, actually, let me take this to out. We don't need to put this inside this row. So now let's save it. The error is gone, but our icon is gone as well. And we want to put those two sections out of this icon. Okay, I mean out of this row. Okay, like as I said that. So this is the first two element in the row, and then empty container, and then the other element. Okay, so let's put it here right now. Okay, perfect. Now let me take it out. Yes, now put it back. Yes, perfect. Okay, but now at this moment you think, and we think that we need this what is it, we need this left right padding, so we do right 20. Okay, now it looks better. Okay, and another problem is here, as you see, Well, of course, this is the row that is showing this one, so we want to create a distance over here. So we'll do sized box. Once again, sized box height, say 25 pixels. Now let's save it. Okay, now it put down. But now, as you see, these are in the middle, right? So we want them to start from the bottom over here. Like they should be aligned on the bottom, like this one. Now to do that, within this row, let's see this row. Okay, we can use another property. Once again, this is cross-axis alignment, but cross-axis alignment we saw early that it is a start. It can start from the left, from the beginning, or it can start from the bottom. Okay, so we do bottom, or sorry, it's end actually. So now let's go ahead, save it, run it. So now all starts from the end. So when you have this option start, it starts from the left side. When it's you say end, okay, all right, so it actually push down everything to the bottom. Okay, all right, so now it's okay. And one more thing, as you see that here it has the shadow, so we need this shadow. Okay, now to have the shadow we need to take care of this icon. Now this icon itself doesn't have shadow, so what we do, we'll wrap it around a container. So on Mac you hit Option Enter. Now you have this container over here. Okay, now within container we'll use this decoration property. Okay, so we'll write decoration, box decoration, this one. Okay, and then border radius, well, I think border radius is not important though. Let me do box shadow first. Okay, it takes a list, and for box shadow we need to call the box shadow constructor. And now for the first one we'll do the color. So color dot app color dot gradient first. We'll use the gradient first color, and then we'll do the blur radius, say 10, and offset. We'll do offset now, offset for 8. Okay, now let's save it and see the result. So now we have this bit of shadow, but because we didn't use the border radius, so the shadow is still there, right? Okay, so just try to use border radius and it will take care of this problem. Border radius dot circular, say 60. So because our icon size is also 60 and border radius is also 60, so it'll chop up some of the top shadow. Okay, let's save it. Yes, the shadow is there. Okay, so with this we have successfully done this layout. Okay, once again, if you have a problem understanding it, leave a question below and I will try to answer it. Okay, so now we have this few sections over here. Let's see, this is the container. Okay, all right, once again, this row is this one, size box, the distance, and then another row for showing this one, and this size box is creating this two distance. And of course this container itself is a bit complex, a lot of things going on. In the container itself we have this column, within column we have this one, then we have this row, and within row we have another row to show this thing. All right, okay, so next we'll see how to take care of this one. Okay, all right, now the first thing we'll do, we'll draw a container. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. A container. Okay, all right, now the container will have kind of say height, right? So give it a height 180. So we want to put a lot of things inside this container, this image, and this is a separate image, and this text. Okay, so 100 height would be like this amount of height, including this shadow, as you can see. Okay, all right, okay, so next what we'll do, we'll give it width. Okay, now we do it like media query dot off context dot size dot width. Okay, all right. And then we'll have this what else, let's see, then we will have this padding. Okay, let's go ahead and do a bit of padding. I think we can do it later. Now we'll have this child over here. Okay, now this part is interesting because this image and this background image, they are two separate images. Now they're sitting on the top of each other at this, sorry, I mean they're overlapping, right? They're overlapping. So over here we need to introduce a new widget which is called stack widget. Okay, and we'll wrap everything around stack widget, because if you do that, then you can, your items or elements, they can overlap. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and do it. Now stack takes children. Okay, so we'll have this children, and next the first thing we'll do, draw this image. Okay, draw this image. Now this image, because the image itself also has this shadow, so that's why we'll put this image inside a container. Okay, that's what we want to do. So let's go ahead and call this container, and once again let's give it a width. The image and the container will have width, so we'll call it using media query of context, and then we'll do say size, and we'll do width. Okay, like this. All right, and now let's define a bit of height for this. Okay, height for this container, so we'll do height, say 120. So that means there is either 60 height or 60 pixels. Those would be used for padding and shadow, things like that. Okay, all right, and we want to show an image inside the container. So what we'll do, we'll wrap it around a box decoration once again. Okay, and definitely, as you can see, our image will have border, so we'll do border border radius circular, and we'll do say 20 pixel radius. And now box decoration takes image, and it takes another constructor which is called decoration image, and within it we'll have another property which is image property, and it takes another constructor which is asset image. Okay, and for now we'll be hard coded over here. Okay, we'll show an image directly from our asset folder, and here we have this asset sorry, I guess, let's see, the card. Okay, card JPJ. I think this one is the one, this other one, they're the same though. All right, we can use any of them. So that's an asset folder, so we'll do assets, and I'll call it here card.jpj. The size is small, not this one. Okay, all right, and make sure that our pub spec file has this setup over here. Okay, otherwise it will get an error. Okay, so now let's come back to this one, and let me run the app. Okay, now say it. Now it's there, right? Okay, and let's see. So everything is here, and but looks like this border doesn't have a big impact. That's now another reason we do have border, but it's within decoration and box decoration and decoration image, so we can use another property which is called fit. Okay, so with the box fit dot say fill. Okay, now let's save it. Yeah, okay, now it has this border and it's fit inside directly. Okay, now the problem is it's coming too close to the earlier container. So what we could do here, we could create a bit of distance. So you do sized box height, say 5 pixels, okay, yeah, like this. Or okay, for now this distance is okay. All right, we'll change it a little later again, because we can use padding and other interesting things. Okay, so that's one area where we change the height, and there is another area actually where we can change take care of this distance. Now it's inside this container. Okay, now this container we can put a bit of margin, okay, top margin. Okay, we do const edge sets only on the top, say 30. All right, now let's set it. Yeah, now it's looking much better. Okay, I think you can also directly do it, but in the original code that's how I've done it. So even if you remove this one and put 35 here, I think it's the same, but I don't want to change it now anyway. But you can play around this thing. Okay, all right, so once again the next thing we want to do is creating a shadow around it. Okay, all right, so that's why we need box shadow. Okay, it takes a list, we do box shadow, and over here we do blur radius, say 40, because we want a lot of spreading around it, and we do offset. Okay, and offset, say 810, so 8 pixels from the left to right and top pixels from the top to bottom. Okay, and we could do color dot app color dot gradient second, and would so just go ahead and save it and see the result. Okay, now once again we want to use with opacity 0.3. Okay, now it's a bit lighter and came down a little bit. Okay, now if you use 20, you see it change like this, but in this case I'll go with 40. Okay, so that's what we have right now. Okay, now we also want at the top a little bit of shadow, so we can put 2 shadows right now. So what we'll do, we'll just copy paste and put it inside here. Okay, and on the top we can change the blur radius like this. Okay, and because we want top shadow, so we need to put it say -8 and -10. Okay, let's see. Now on the top it is too strong, right? So we don't want that strong, so we'll use -1 and do -5 over here. Okay, and let's see what else we could do. I think we're good now. Okay, yeah, so like it goes on the top and a little bit on the left. Okay, all right, so with this we are done with this image over here. Okay, now this container, stack container, it has children, right? The first child is the container, and it is showing this image. So next we want to show this beautiful girl on this on the top of this one. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just go ahead and create another container over here, and let's see, we'll have, say for example, container height. Okay, say do it 200, and let's do width. Okay, now for now say width is 350, and now say color. Okay, say colors dot red accent dot with opacity 0.2. Okay, now just go ahead and save it and see what is this we are doing. So this is another container, this container is overlapping on that one, right? So that's what I wanted to show you, because if you don't have color over here, you really don't know what is this and what things are happening over here. Okay, yeah, so now we'll put our image. Okay, so as we want to put our image, what we'll do, we can copy this decoration property, okay, from this container, and put it right below it. Okay, and let's see, because we are using decoration, so the color itself should be inside decoration as we learned early. Okay, all right, okay, and let's see what else. I think we are pretty good. And over here we all actually, if you see, this girl doesn't have any shadows, so we don't want to create any shadows. Okay, so we can remove this shadow section. Okay, we don't need her, this section. Okay, and instead of card here, we want to show another image which is called figure.jpg or png. Okay, all right, now let's save it and see. Okay, now that's pretty interesting, right? This girl is way too big. I mean, she's a beautiful girl, she doesn't need to be so strong, stronger than many men maybe. So we can change her now. All right, so to do that, how to do that? Now this is a container, so we can create margin on the right, a little bit margin on the bottom, so it'll put her over here. Okay, yeah, we'll change this background color a little later, don't worry about that. Okay, so what we'll do over here, we'll do margin. Okay, margin const edge insets. Okay, now we'll do only say right margin, say 200. Okay, now you see it pushed her on the right. Okay, I'm using this red color because it's easy to see what's happening over here. Okay, yeah, and let's see, we can also do a little bottom margin, so it'll put her up. Okay, yes, sorry about it. Okay, so we'll do bottom margin, say bottom margin over here, say 30. Okay, yes, it pushed it like this. Yeah, and over here, what we could do, we can also change this height. Let's get the height, sorry, we can change the width. So we can change the width, we can get it from media query. Let's see, media query dot off context dot size dot width. Okay, now let's say, okay, and now let's see, if we take out this color from here, yes, she looks much better, right? Yeah. Okay, now I think this omen is too big, so let me change this one, box fit. I think now she's much better, and I guess I'm happy with this. Okay, yeah, so now we are done with this beautiful layout. Once again, this has been possible only because of stack widget, because within stack you can wrap around things. Okay, all right, so the next thing we'll do, we'll go ahead and write this one. But now over here, as you can see very clearly, that this is a column layout, right? Okay, so that's what we'll do now, because we want to do extra style maybe, and we want to control it more. So first I'll declare a container, and within container we will assign other things. Okay, which is I mean easy to control with. Okay, now this one, this container, once again, let's do width and height. Okay, now let's do with double dot max infinite and say height 100, and now do a color so we know what this container is and where it is, with opacity 0.3. okay, now let's save it and see it. So it's there, right? So it's, once again, because it's within stack widget, so it's occupying the whole area, so that's what we don't want. Okay, so we can leverage this margin. Once again, we do margin edge insets only, and so do a left margin. Okay, do 150. Let's see. Okay, so now it came to this section, right? And now, because with max infinite, it takes the available width, okay, within your parent container. So that's a beautiful thing about it. Okay, because this container is within that container, right? Okay, and we also want to have a bit of top, so we want to put it down. Okay, so you do top, say 50. Let's see it. Yes, perfect. So this is the perfect place. And now what we'll do, we can go ahead and do our text. Okay, and now those 3 lines of text, like as you saw early over here, they're in a container, and that's a column container. And so we do child and call column. Okay, now within column we'll have children, and then we'll have this text, and we'll say you are doing great, and then we'll do style and text style, and then we'll do font size, say 18, and then we'll do font weight dot bold. That's what we'll do here, and the color. Okay, color dot app color dot homepage detail. So we'll use this color for this one. Okay, let's go to save it and see the result. Okay, yeah, it's right there, right? Okay, but we want to start from the beginning, so we can do cross-axis alignment dot dot start, and it started from the beginning. Okay, and next we'll create a sized box, and we'll do height, say 10, and then we'll do the other 2 lines. But now for this one, I'll introduce a new widget. You can completely do it text widget, but we'll use another type of text widget, which is called rich text. Okay, it has also its benefits. You can do less styling, I would say. All right, and it takes a child, which is property, which is a text property, and the container it takes, which is called text span. Okay, all right, now over here you write a text using your text property. It's a keep it up. Okay, and then you can use style, and then you do text style, and say color dot app color homepage plain color. Okay, and let's see what else. So we can also do font size say 16. All right, okay, now let's go ahead and see the result. Okay, so it's there, right? So now at this moment, what we can do, we can remove this ugly color. We don't need this anymore. Okay, right. All right, now we want to put the other word, which is called stick to your plan, this one. Okay, all right, now over here we can what we'll do, we can do a property which is called children. Okay, and within it, it takes a bunch of text span. All right, and over here you can write your other text, which is called stick to your plan. Okay, all right, save it. Now they're on the same line, right? So what we'll do, we'll enter a new line over here like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is /n, that means new line. So with rich text, the benefit is, you see the same style, this one is being applied to that one, so we didn't need to have a different style. Okay, so that's the benefit with rich text, I guess. Okay, anyway, you can also use just text widget as you want. All right, yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so this has been amazing. So we have done this beautiful layout so far. Okay, now next we'll see how to go ahead and do this one. Okay, all right, and for this one, once again, this is the text widget, and then we will have empty container. Okay, now do remember, this section is not within our stack widget, not within this one, so not within this one. So I'll close it right here like this, and now what I will do, I'll call a row widget, and then it takes children. The children, the first one is a text, and I will say area of focus, and then we do text align. So text align, say align dot center, and then we'll do style. Okay, text style. Okay, font size say 25, and font weight say we'll use this one, and the color we'll use color dot app color dot homepage title color. This color and this color, they're the same color. Okay, now let's go to save it and see the result. Okay, so perfect. All right, so next one, what we'll do, we will create this section over here, and this is the most complicated section in this homepage. Okay, all right. Okay, now to do that, the first thing we want to do, we want to create an say expanded widget. Okay, all right, expanded widget. Okay, and with an expanded widget we'll have, say, what do you want to do? We want to return we want to create a row. Okay, row and column at the same time. But first it would be a row, okay, this row, and this is the second row, and once you draw the row you'll also have a column like that. Okay, but anyway, so you want to put these two things together. Okay, all right, so you want to put them in a loop. Okay, these things you want to put them in a loop. So because you want to put them in a loop, so what we'll do, we'll create a list builder over here. Okay, yeah, so let's do list view dot builder. Okay, yeah, just like that. Let me rearrange everything over here. And now list builder, of course, it takes few parameters. So first one is say constructor, but we are not passing it, whatever context, we are not passing it, and then it takes a counter, and after that we can return something. Okay, and return a row. Okay, all right, so this would be the first row, this would be the second row. Okay, and as we are returning, we need this semicolon over here. Okay, now the next interesting part is, okay, let me write children over here. Now the next interesting part is this one. So this is a container. Okay, yeah, so what we do container. Okay, yeah, and now let's see, within container, let's define a height for this. So what we do is a height. Okay, now let's say height 170. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll also do width. Okay, so for now, say width 200, but of course this is not the width we'd use eventually. Okay, and I think that's it. Okay, and at the same time you want to show an image, right? Okay, so once again we learned we can use decoration image, so box decoration, then say border radius dot circle, so we'll use 50 pixels, and then image, and then we'll do decoration image and image and asset image. All right, for now we'll just use a random image from our assets. Okay, all right, I guess that's assets, and the picture is, I think, x1.png, like that. Okay, now let's see if we save it and what happens. Right, okay, yeah, so those are the images, right? And now because we didn't mention our I, so it created an infinite loop. Okay, so here it takes another property which is called item count. For now we'll do 4. Okay, now let's save it, run it, and hit it one more time. Yeah, so we have this images, 4 images of this girl's bottom, I guess. Okay, now, okay, what we could do next, we can also design this shadow for this shadow. Okay, so to do that, we learned early that we can use a shadow within our box decoration. Okay, so we do box shadow. All right, and it takes a list of properties. So first one is the box shadow, and it takes properties. Blur radius, we'll use 3, and offset we'll use 5, and then we'll use color. Okay, and color dot app color dot gradient second color we'll use, and we'll use with opacity 0.1. okay, now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Yeah, it has a lot of these things, right? Okay, but don't worry, we'll take care of that slowly. Okay, now another reason you see this is this background color showed up, we can use actually white color, because this our image is too small, right? So we can use colors dot white. Okay, yes, so it's gone, and at the same time we have this bit of shadow over here, right? Okay, so the shadow is working, and we also want to put a top shadow. So what do? We'll just copy it directly, okay, and put it right there. Now instead of going on the positive side, we'll do the negative side. Okay, yeah, so everything else stays the same. Now we have shadows left, right, in everywhere. Okay, but now here we don't have these things. We'll take care of that a little later, this section. Okay, not now. And you also want to show a text below. Okay, within this container. We are done with the decoration. Now we'll use child. Child would be, say, we want to show the text, right? Okay, now we want to do right at the center and a little at the bottom. Okay, so we'll wrap it around center widget, and then we'll do, say, for example, child and text, and say glutes for now. Okay, and we'll do style, text style. Okay, and font size 20, and color dot app color dot homepage detail color, the same color we have used before. Okay, now it's at the center, right? Okay, that's why we did this. But now we want horizontally center, but vertically a little bit at the bottom. So what we'll do, we'll wrap this around. Okay, so we'll wrap this around another widget, which is called align widget. Okay, and align widget has a property which is called alignment. Now we do, say, alignment dot bottom center. Okay, all right, so it put it down, but now it's too much at the bottom. So what we could do, we can create a padding for our container. Okay, over here, so we'll do a little bit of padding over here. So padding, edge inserts only, we do bottom, say 5. Look at this one. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah. Okay, so far this thing's going smoothly. Okay, but what about having the container over here, not at the bottom, right? Okay, so now before we go ahead showing it really over here, we want to read this file from our JSON file. Okay, so this JSON file, all right, but this JSON file is empty there, so everything is good over here, but I will just change this folder name, so it's an assets folder instead of embed folder. So you can follow along and change with me. It's a simple JSON file. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now we want to read everything from this JSON folder. Okay, yeah, once again, this is a very simple JSON file over here. It is this key value pair like that. Okay, they have different names, so that's what we want to read and show over here. Okay, now come back to our file over here. I'll close it for now like this, so that we know what's going on and we know it very clearly. Now over here we want to declare a method which is called init state method, but we need to override that. Okay, so now we'll call void init state. We'll call super dot init state. Okay, and now we'll here create init data. This is a private function. Now we have to declare this function init data. Okay, now over here we'll use a function that's built out of this Flutter directly, which is called default asset folder, default asset bundle, I guess, sorry, not folder. And then it takes a context, and then it is a property or method called load string. Now here you have to supply the path of your JSON file, so it's within JSON folder, and the file name is info.json. So I'll call info.json, and then we'll load it. Okay, so once we loaded it, then we'll take it to the memory and decode it. Okay, to do that, there is another step which is called then. Okay, now over here we'll return something. Okay, now let's see. So now everything is loaded over here and in the memory, the JSON file. Now we need to decode it. To decode it, we need to call through a function called json.decode. Okay, and you'll call it over here value. Okay, so let's import the library, this one. Okay, so this value is coming over here. Okay, now we need to save it somewhere in our file, in our application actually. So we'll declare a variable of list type. We'll call it info. This is an empty list. Now the decoded JSON file would be saved here. Okay, all right, and let's make sure that everything is working correctly. Let's reload our app completely from the beginning, and it looks like there is an error over here. It's failed to load the JSON file. So now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and check our pub spec file. Over here, definitely it's missing the path of JSON file. So we need to declare here JSON folder. So our JSON folder, you need to say in your pub spec file where it is. Okay, and what's the name. All right, now once again go ahead and reload it. Yes, so there are no mistakes. All right, okay, so the decoder has been done. Now we'll use this. Okay, now everything is loading perfectly, so we need to use it. Okay, so let's find our list builder over here. Okay, and here instead of reading it hard-coded for, what do? We'll read it like, say, info.length. Okay, so this would give us the length. Okay, now let's run it to make sure that yes, fine. Okay, yeah, now the very first thing we could do, we can over here change the image. Okay, now we can read the image from here. So would read info, and now index number I, and our key is img. Let's read it. Okay, now as you see here, we have this images. They are different images, right? So it means it is working. At the same time, we can also change the title. So here info index I, and then we'll read title. Okay, well, just get dependencies, I think you can ignore that. Okay, and let's run it one more time. Okay, or we could just ignore. Okay, yeah, so now as you see, they have different names and different images, right? Okay, well, so far it's good. Okay, now the problem is you want to put this one next to it, right? Like that. How to do that? Now in Flutter, there is no direct widget to do that, and I think there might be one or two plugins, but I don't want to use plugins for this. So this is the basic programming thing that we should learn. Okay, all right. So how to go ahead and do that? Now, this list builder is more like a for loop. Okay. So I want, now the size of this for loop is like 4 because the length is 4. Okay, if you go ahead and see our info JSON file, so there are 4 items here. Okay, yeah, 1 2 3, 4, and the title and images, that's what we are reading just now. Anyway, but now I want to read them just only 2 times. Okay, so each time you read, so there would be like, so first row I would read these images for first row, and read again next time, the second time. So I would read it 2 times, even though 4 of them, but within 2 times we want to finish them and finish rendering. Okay, well, so the first thing you have to do is turn it like we need to divide it by 2, right? Okay, so now because it returns integer, like as you can see, get length, it returns integer, but if you divide it by 2, it will become more like a double. So first you need to turn it to double. Okay, all right, now divided by 2. Okay, now this result is really double now, but it takes integer, so we'll turn it to int. All right, so what we did, because we need to divide it by 2, but it could be only divided by 2 if it's a double. Okay, so we turn it to double, then divide it by 2. Now the end result from here, it's a double, but item count, it takes int, like as you can see here, so we cast it to int. All right, so now it will return a value of 2. Okay, now that part has been done. Okay, now over here we want to just say, for example, copy the same one, right? Yes, and put it. So over here, now let's run it and see the result. So definitely this time this is only run 2 times. Okay, let's see if we have an error. Okay, well, now there is this kind of this error, that error, and also you see it's repeating the same thing. So we have few issues to take care of right now. Okay, well, the first thing I think we can take care of this indexing problem, and then we'll take care of this one. Okay, now this is the first container. Definitely the first one is right, the second one is wrong, right? And over here, of course, first one is right, second one is wrong. We can think it like that. So in general, you might think, okay, when it's going to the second time, can I just increase the index number? Okay, just do +1, and the same one we do for title. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, now it looks like yes, it works, but now they have the similar index. Okay, so it means it's not working. Okay, so what do we want? The first time index is 0, second time index is 1, third time index is 2, next time index is 3. But what's happening here? Index 0, 1, 1, and 2. So the third index, the third index we are not getting, and we are also repeating the second one, like this index is 1, this index is 1. So we need to get rid of this problem. Now here is the simple algorithm that I found, and it works with me. I made this own algorithm. I don't know if you have better algorithm, you can definitely please share with me. I'll welcome that one. Now I want to save the indexes and do a simple calculation. Okay, so what I want to do, whatever index is there, we take it I, of course the index is I, and we multiply it by 2. I'll explain soon why. And the second one is B, and what do? We multiply it with I plus 1. Okay, now let's see what's happening here. So first time index is 0. All right, so this becomes 0 because index I equals 0 first time, right? Okay, and at the same time this B is 0 plus 1, so it becomes 1. So in the first iteration we get 0 and 1. Okay, all right, so what we could do, we can just retrieve this. Instead of I, we can use A. The same for this one, A. All right, now within our second container, instead of I plus 1, I can use B, and over here I use B again. So once the first iteration is done, A is 0 and B is 1. So that means that after first iteration, this 2 would be used, right? Yes. Okay. So this is the simple algorithm. And when it runs a second time, then I is 1, right? Then A becomes 2, right? And how about this B? Well, I is 1, so I multiplied by 2 is 2 plus 1. So 3. So it's working, right? So we are using all these indexes. So first time when it runs, so this is 0 and this one is 1. So during second iteration, this index is 2. We are getting index 2. And the last one is 3, okay? During the second iteration. So that means it should work, okay? Now let's go ahead and run it. Application restarted, yes. So now as you can see, the images and the titles, they're all different. So it means it's working. This is the first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. So we can confirm it from our JSON file. So glutes abs, I think it should be glutes, not glues. And the next one is legs and arms. So that means images are also correct. Okay, let me restart it one more time because I edited the JSON file. So this means our simple algorithm of showing our containers in a column next to each other, it's working. I tried to do Stack Overflow, but I couldn't find a solution for this, so I just wrote my own algorithm. All right, so that means it's working. Now another problem is this overflow. Okay, well, that's happening because this total container size is too big. All right, now do remember at the very beginning, at the top, we have this thing, this left right padding, right? So there, this extra space they're taking, but because we need more space here, so we want to get rid of this extra space. We don't want it. Okay, well, now if you don't want it, what we could do right here, we can wrap this one around another container. Okay, yeah, so that is called overflow. Okay, so let's in Mac hit Command Enter. I think in Windows that should be Alter Enter. Okay, now we'll get an option for wrapping it around widget. Okay, now we'll here use a widget which is called overflowbox. Okay, you do that, and at the same time you need to mention that you want to use the maximum width. So what it do, it would use the width of the screen. So you need to take the width of the screen and tell it that use the maximum width. Now let's run it and save. Okay, yes, you see, so that means this top padding is not taking effect anymore. Okay, so because you are using overflow index, so it took this extra space. Okay, now we have too much space, and that's okay. Yes, so let's recount our screen width. Okay, over here. So what do we want to do? Actually, we want to use 30 pixel over here empty, and 30 pixel over here empty, and 30 pixel over here empty, space, right? So rest of this space we want to use for our container, and that has to be dynamic. So here we want to calculate this one. Okay, yeah, so how do you do that? Well, now here once again we get media query dot off dot context dot size, okay, dot width. Okay, now we get that one. Now do remember that we have this 30 over here, 30 over here, 30 over here, so 3 30s together 90. Okay, now I remove 90, but at the same time I want to position it over here and over here, right? So what I will do, I'll divide it by 2. So over here, what will happen? So you remove this 30, 30, 30, so it would be here, okay? Because this 30, over here 30, and over here 30. So it will remove total 90. Then it would be left with this amount of space, okay? Now, what do you want to start? Now you divide it by 2, so that means you will have this amount of space, okay? Or like this amount of space. So we want to use that amount of space, because rest of the space you need to divide equally to these two containers. Hope it makes sense. So you remove 90, and rest of the space you want to allocate equally to these two containers. Okay, so that's why you divide it by 2. All right. Okay, so that's one. And so now let's go ahead and run it and see the result. Okay, it's loading. Yes, it's removed a lot more space, and you see first one becomes smaller, right? So we will apply this one, the same one, to our second container. So this is our second container. So this is the width. All right, now let's save it. Okay, now it becomes much smaller. Now I think you understand that now here is our 90 pixel. Okay, so this 90 pixel has been removed, and this is the whatever the space our container is using. So that means this part is very dynamic. Okay, now what we could do, this containers itself, we can put some extra padding or margin like this. Okay, so now this container will have margin. Okay, all right, so what do we do? We'll do edge insets only. I would do left, so left 30. Okay, so this is the first container, and it will have 30 pixel margin on the left. So let's save it. So you see now that margin is over here, but at the same time our shadow is there as well. Remember earlier we didn't have the shadow, it was cut off. Okay, all right, and at the same time you also want to give it a bottom margin for the first one. Okay, yeah, so what do you do? We do bottom, say 15. All right, so there is this bottom margin a little bit, but it looks weird. We'll fix it very soon. Okay, now the same one you'd use over here. Okay, so give it some margin. So margin, we do edge insets dot only, and the left. So this is for a second container, right? So left 30. So second container will have 30 pixels. Okay, now it's working. And at the same time, let's see what we could do. Maybe, okay, this bottom, so bottom 15. Let's save it. Okay, now it's looking much better. Okay, so this has this little bit bottom margin. Okay, now what we could do, we can also add a top margin. Bottom margin, say the first one, bottom, I think for the second one, for the second one we can add a top margin. So top, well, instead of doing like this, why don't we just do directly 30? Yes, and also let's change it over here. Okay, so now it's looking much better. Okay, so this is working pretty perfectly. Okay, so with this actually everything is fine. As you can see, you can scroll up and down, and at the same time, say for example, if you increase this somehow, say for example you want to increase this thing, okay, so 6, and in that case our algorithm should work. Okay, as you see, now there are total six items, and our algorithm is working. So last two legs, and the last one is arms. So whatever the algorithm we wrote here, it's working correctly. Okay, I'll keep it 6 here for now. Okay, now there's another problem. Now here this too much extra padding, top padding. So we'll remove that padding. To remove that padding, you need to this one. Actually, this padding is coming because of list builder. So you need to wrap it around another widget, and that widget is called media query dot remove padding. Okay, and it has this top padding. So we'll set remove top true, and you also need to pass context to it. Okay, now let's save it. So let's see. Well, now it's too close, right? So over here, maybe we can set up margin. Okay, now this top padding can help us. Okay, say top margin, actually top 15, and over here for the second one we can also do top 15. Okay, but now it's too much over here, right? So maybe we need to get back to bottom 15 and 15 together. Okay, so everything is perfect. All right, so with this we are done with this section, and now we'll build our next page. Okay, all right, so now we'll be building this next page. First we'll build a page, and then we'll connect them through navigation. Okay, to do that, first we need to declare a file. Let's go ahead and create a new file, and we'll call it video info.dart. Okay, and then we'll create a stateful widget, and we'll call it video info, and then we need to import some of the dependencies, and we're good to go. All right, well, now the first thing, definitely we want to wrap it around a widget. Okay, and we'll call it a scaffold. Okay, all right, and we're going to use scaffold because we also need to use some of the other properties and the navigation button, things like that. Anyway, so instead of child we would do body. All right, okay, perfect. Now the first thing we want to do, we want to give it a background color, okay, and things like that. Okay, so to do that, we'll directly use decoration property for this. Okay, box decoration. Okay, all right, because as you can see we have this linear background color over here, and so this is a gradient color, right? Gradient color. So that's why we need this box decoration, because if we have box decoration we can use linear gradient or this kind of gradient color. So once again we'll do gradient over here. Okay, and we'd use linear gradient. Okay, all right, and then it takes colors. Okay, now once again we'll use our color file, so we'll import it. So we do colors.dart as color. Okay, all right. Okay, now definitely we'll have gradient color. So we do color.appcolor. First gradient, and then we'll do the second gradient color. Okay, gradient second, right? Okay, now for now we'll change this home page to video info. Later on we'll connect them together, video info. Now we need to import this file. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it on our simulator. This one. Okay, all right. Okay, so this has this gradient color, right, and it's coming from left to right. Where is this file? So this file is over here, and over here actually we can also specify where to begin from and where to end from. So we'd say begin, and we'd do const fractional offset, this one, and 0.0 and 0.4. okay, and then we'll do end. Okay, for end I would go with alignment and top right. Okay, let's see. So as you say, it changed, so it started from here and finished at top right. All right, and I guess we are pretty happy with this. Okay, so now background is this. That's because we want to have this kind of background, right? Okay, now with this actually we can do a bit of change because it might be right now too deep, so we can change the opacity of this. Okay, so we do with opacity say 0.8. this is the first one, then second one is 0.9. okay, or let's go ahead 9 with this. Okay, yeah, or just okay, well now I'm happy with this one. Okay, so this color almost matches this design color. Okay, I guess. All right, so that's what we have now. And next we want to do here, as you can see that we have this layout over here. So definitely this is a column layout, as you can see. So we'll use column property. Okay, now within within container we'll declare a child property. Okay, and child would be column for sure. Okay, yes. Well, now with the column we'll have our width. Okay, sorry, children, and within children we'll have a container. Okay, and within container we'll have this bunch of stuffs. Okay, all right, now within container we want to declare our media query and hide things like that. Okay, so we'll go ahead with width and we do media query dot off dot context dot size dot width. Okay, now we do height. Okay, and height because within this we'll display some of the stuff. Okay, so we'll do 300, but let's go ahead, save it and run it. Of course there is no obvious difference because we don't have any content. Now the first thing we want to do is showing this one. This is as a row, right? Okay, but this row and this row and this row would be within a container, and that container would be once again a column. Okay, so here we have this child and would do column. Okay, and it takes children, and within children we'll have row. Okay, and row once again takes children. Okay, and now this is the first one is the icon. Okay, so do icons dot arrow. This is this one, back iOS, and then we'll use size, say 20, and then we use color. Okay, now we'll use color dot app color dot second page icon color. This is what coming from this color palette. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it and run it. Okay, now this is not visible yet. Let's see. Okay, well I know why, because this might be somewhere at the very top. Okay, so now for this container we can hook up here padding. Okay, so we do const edge size only, and we do top 70. Okay, now let's save it. Now here is our icon. So definitely we can also use left and right padding. So left 30 and right 30. Okay, perfect. So it's looking much better now. All right. Now we want to place our second icon, which is this this one. Okay, so we do icon. You know what I can do? We can just completely copy this thing. Let's save our time. And the only thing we need to change this icon name. So do info outline. Info outline. This one. It's beautiful. Put it there and run it. Okay, now they're together. But in the beginning of this tutorial, we'll learn we can use expanded widget to separate them. Container. All right, let's save it. Perfect. We are done with this, right? Okay. All right, now what else we do? We do this text. All right, so legs, toning, things like that. So I think we have this one over here. So over here we can copy it from somewhere. So let's look at this container, legs, toning. Yeah, this two. So this one and this one. Okay, so I guess we can just completely copy this one and video info over here. right? But definitely that would be I guess a new row, right? You can just completely put it here, okay, and not in this row, because this is, we are already in column, right? So whatever it is, so it would be laid out on the top of each other. So let's save it and see. Okay, perfect. But now we have some of this problem here because it's in the column. So this column property we can set. So we can use cross-axis alignment, which is horizontal alignment dot start. So it would put everything at the beginning. Now here they're too close to each other, so we'll do sized box. Sized box, say height 30. All right. Yes. Okay. Perfect. All right. And maybe we can change some of these colors. Instead of home page, this color, we can use second page title color. Okay, and the same over here, second page title color, second page title color. All right, yes, we are done, we are good with this. Okay, and next we want to show this one. Okay, all right, now right after this text we can use another row property, I mean row widget, and then we do children, right? Okay, because we have this and this. Okay, well, now this one, as you can see, these two, they do have background, right? So that's why we need to fit this one in a container and this one in another container. Okay, all right, so that's what we want to do. So we do container, because if we have container we can assign width and height, okay, and background color, and we do height, say 30. All right, and we do decoration, box decoration. All right, we do now this one over here, we need radius and gradient color, as you can see from there. So we do border radius dot circular dot 10, I mean not that dot 10 though. Now we do gradient color for our background, linear gradient, and then we use colors. Okay, now we'll use two colors. So the first one is app color dot second page gradient color first, and then color dot app color dot second page gradient color second. All right, yes. Now let's go ahead and save it and run it. So it's there, so it's getting this background color. All right, okay. Now we can also assign this begin and end thing. So we do alignment dot bottom left, I guess, and end alignment dot top right. Okay, perfect. Now let's save it. Okay, now here the changes are very tiny. It starts from here and ends there. Okay, all right, so you can play around this value and see. Anyway, so now here these two items, right? Now they are also in a row. So within this container, I'll declare a child property, and within child I'll have this row. Okay, all right. Now this row will have our this and this, so definitely we can declare with icon. So the first one is icons dot say timer, so that's a timer, and then size 20, and what else? We can do color, right? Color dot app color dot second page icon color. This one, let's go ahead, save it and see. Okay, it's working. All right, well, at the same time, next we can do another sized box within this row, because before we put the text, so we do sized box. With 5. Okay, perfect. And then we do text. Okay, now the text is 68 min, and then we do text style. Okay, font size say 16, and the color app color, second page icon color. So this one, we'll use the same color for them now. Okay, now it's there. Okay, all right, so now the problem is that it's too close to the previous text color, or the text, not text color. So over here we'll use a sized box, and we'll use say height. Okay, we'll do height 50, and it should look much better now. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, now another problem with this is that this is too close to this side, so we can put this whole row item in the center. So over here we'll use, because again it's to left, okay, so we can center them. So we do main axis alignment. So main axis alignment dot center. Okay, now it put things in the center. Okay, well, so that's our first container, right? Okay, now this first container hold this thing, so we need to have another container for drawing these things. Okay, this item and things like that. And before we do that, we can use the sized box, otherwise they would be too close to each other. We do width 20. Okay, now once again, pretty much like this one, everything has to be in a container, then background color, this and that. Okay, so everything in this row. Okay, but this row has another part. So, and what you could do for this one, first definitely we can copy some of the things from here. So this container. Okay, well, now this container, we put it there, and let's put it, now it's next to each other, but it's too close, so we'll use sized box, say width 20. Okay, now let's see. Okay, perfect. But now the width over here, it's not, because this text is much longer, so you can use a longer width, say 250. All right, it's making sense now. Height is okay. Everything else is fine. All we need to do is just change the icon and the text, right? Okay, so the tag for this icon, I don't have the perfect one, so I have used handy outline, things like that. It's not the perfect one though. Okay, now we'll change the text over here. So this text is resistant band kettlebell. Okay, perfect. So now everything is working perfectly. Okay, great. We're done with this. So this row section has been done. All right, and what else? So now we want to have this one. So let's see. Okay, so let's organize our code so that we understand what's going on. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we want to draw this one, and okay, now we have this section. This section we are done, and this is in this container in the column. So in our column, this is the first container, and within container we have containers and rows, things like that. So next we want to be able to draw this one. Okay, and to draw that, we want the rest of the space should be white space, whatever the space available on the screen. So that's the space we want to take. And if you want to take available space of something or within a widget or container, you should use expanded widget. Okay, and over here we'll do container. Okay, all right, yeah, and definitely for container you need to give it, say, color, right? So go ahead and give it colors, say white color, and let's see the result. Okay, now as you see, it's taking this rest of the white space. Okay, now we want to make this border over here. Okay, so that's why we need to use decoration property. Okay, we do we do box decoration. Okay, and we do color colors dot white. Okay, perfect. Let's save it and we are good. Okay, now because we are doing decoration, so we can do border radius dot, say, what kind of, how much border we want to give it, say 70 pixels. All right, okay, perfect. But now it's taking here and there at the same time, but we just want one border, so that's why we can do border radius only. Okay, border radius only. And what do we want to do? We want to do top right and radius dot circular, and then we'll do 70. Okay, so that's what we want. Okay, perfect. We are almost done with this section. Okay, well, all right, now we want to draw this section and whatever is here. Now as you can see, if you look at it, so this is one row and these are rows also inside a column. So this all could suit in a column widget. Okay, so now within this container it takes a child property, so we'd use child property and we would do column. Okay, and then we do children. Okay, all right, now within the children, definitely the first one is the row. Okay, all right, so we do row. Okay, and row text children. Okay, fine. Now what you do, we do text over here, and let's say, what's the text name? This circuit 1 legs toning. Okay, and then we'd use style, text style. Okay, and the font size at 20, font weight dot, so we do bold. Okay, all right, and let's save it and see the result. Okay, perfect. All right, now we also want to change the color, so we do color dot app color dot, say, circuits color. Okay, so this is just name of the variable that I've used. Okay, now I like this color. Okay, okay, now they're too close to each other, so I want to create a distance from the top. So over here I could do sized box, and we do height, say 30, and run it. Perfect. Now it's too close to this left side for the row itself, so over here inside the row we could do sized box again, and we do, say, width. Okay, with the 30. Yes, perfect. So I'm happy with this. So we have this text and things like that. So the next we want to draw is this 3 things and this empty space. So definitely for that icon we can directly use over here. So what we could do, we can put this in a row. Okay, row. So we do children and icons dot, say it's a loop. Okay, all right, and the size 30, and the color dot app color dot, so loop color. Okay, let's save it and run it. Okay, it's there. And next you want to put the text. Before that you want to have a sized box, say with 10, so that they don't stay too close to each other. And then we do text and the 3 sets. Okay, and then we do style, text style. Okay, font size, say font size 15, color dot app color dot sets color. Okay, so these are the variables in the color file. Okay, where is this? Yeah, over here. All right, but now once again they're too close to each other, this row and this text. So over here we can create a sized box. We don't need to create a sized box, we can use actually expanded container, so it'll take all the available space. Okay, Now you see this pushing too much to the end. So how to solve this problem? Okay, now here we can use like this one. Right after that we could use a sized box. Okay, sized box width 20, so it will take some empty space right after it. Okay, so it looks like it moved over here. Okay, perfect. So we are done with this section now. Okay, all right. So the next we want to do is these things. Okay, show them. All right, now I want them to be loaded from a JSON file, and we already have this JSON file in our project. Okay, let's see, where is our JSON file? So this video info is the JSON file, so we want to load them. Now for loading, what we'll do, we'll just copy paste the one we had for our home page over here. So pretty much I'll copy everything and just change the file name so we can save sometimes. So now here within this I'll load it, but instead of info this time it's video info, the file name. Okay, and I need to import the file library. Okay, now let's save it, make sure that it's loaded and no error. Okay, perfect. So here we don't have any errors, so it means it loaded correctly and everything is fine. So okay, now we'll see how to use this back button. Okay, and go back to home page. So this would be our home page. From here we are here in details section. Okay, well, details section is within this row, so if you open it up, here we have this detail. So there would be a button like over here, and once you click the button it will come to this page, then this back button will go back. Right, now for this one we'll use a package. We'll use GetX package. So let's go ahead and install it. So just over here, yes, so right here, get, I think get, that's all. Okay, now it'll ask you to get the files once you click on this one. So it will install the necessary package, and I think it's done. And now over here we'll wrap this home page material app using get. All right, okay, and make sure this file has been imported. Yes, it's good. And let's run our app and make sure that it's working correctly. Now I'm using here GetX for navigation and other things. If you want, you can check out the other tutorial that I made before, and I explained more about GetX in that tutorial, so check out the link below. Anyway, so now we are here. So now let's go ahead and change it to home page first. Okay, then we'll go to video info. All right, so home page. Okay, well, let's save it, run it. Yes, so this is our home page. I think we need to reload everything. Okay, fine. Yeah, so that's what we have. Now we want to click on this place and go to the next page, right? Okay, all right, how do you do that? Now let's go to home page, and over here we have this icon, right? So we'll wrap it around widget, which is called Inkwell. Okay, this one, and it takes property. So let me close this. It takes a property which is called on tap. Okay, and over here you can use GetX library to get to a new page. So you do get.to, okay, and here you will mention your page where you want to go. We want to go to video info page like this one, but definitely you need to import this file first, and you also need to import GetX, right? So let's go ahead and import it. Let's see, isn't defined. Let's see, I think instead of getting this one, we can just import this main file and the error should be gone. Okay, now let's restart our app. Okay, let's restart it, I guess, no problem. Now let's click on this icon. All right, now it comes here. Now we want to go back Now if we want to go back, let's find this arrow. Well, I guess this arrow is over here, okay, and within the first row. Okay, so this is the arrow, right? So what we'll do, we'll wrap it around once again another widget. I'll call it, say, inkwell. All right, and over here we have this on tap button. Okay, sorry, inkwell child, yeah, this one. Okay, and I think there should be a comma, otherwise it would be cranky. Okay, now over here we can use get to get dot back, and that will take us to previous page. But as usual, we need to import the GetX package, so we'll import it right below it. Okay, now the error should be gone. Well, now let's go ahead and check it out. So start from here. So everything is loaded. Now click on this arrow, and now we are here on this page, and now we go back. All right, okay, perfect. So our navigation is working perfectly. Okay, all right, and at the same time, earlier in this section we also have done this one. Next we'll see how to load this information, video info, and play the video in this page, okay, over here. So we'll stay tuned for the next tutorial, which is coming very soon. Thanks for watching.